When I wake up in the morning, I got sunshine on my mind. My body gets to moving, and I've got a little time.
Welcome back to the Morning Wood Show. We are here live at Lace in DC. I am Richie Scott. This is my host.
I am Maurice Bouvier, the legend.
And we are happy to have here the cast of Anacostia. We have Mr. Anthony Anderson here.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you for having me. And we have here Pasha Diallo. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So I was introduced to this show probably earlier this year, and my boyfriend, he's very, very excited about it. He loves the show, so he's like, you know what, you gotta watch it. So I did.
I didn't know you were gay.
The secret's out. My mama didn't know.
This is the Morning Wood Show exclusive. Richie Sky is gay.
I came out on the show.
You just came out on the show.
Y'all were here for
Ratings.
It's Sweet Week at the Morning Wood Show.
So listen, we want to dive right into it. Anthony, tell us how did you get started with this? No, actually, first tell us what the show is about. Tell everybody at home.
Well, basically, the show is a online soap opera, dramatic series, and it started because right now there are a lot of soap operas that a lot of people like me that grew up on, like One Life to Live, All My Children, they all got canceled, and so there wasn't any scripted content any longer on television that dealt in the soap opera world. So what I decided to do was create my own. And Spike Lee said, if you want your story told, you have to create it yourself.
Absolutely.
So I created the show. I found some talented actors like Pasha Diallo and others, and we've been knocking it out for the past 3 seasons, going into number 4, which is amazing.
Wow.
Now, how did you come up with the title Anacostia? Because when I first heard people promoting, there's a show coming, Anacostia, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a fan of The Wire, and I was like, oh my God, we got a spin-off of The Wire.
Right.
I was looking for Omar and all of them to be on the show. I really was. I was like, this is going to be a hood show.
Right.
So how did you come up with Anacostia and it being more of a drama show versus being Anacostia from DC back in about 20 years ago?
Right. Well, one of the main things that I wanted to do was I wanted to take something that was on the outside a negative and flip it and turn it into positive. And I think in the media, when you hear the word Anacostia, especially if you're familiar with Anacostia, you automatically have that assumption that it's something that's dealing with drugs and violence and all that type of stuff. But when people actually started watching the show and they saw the lives that these characters were living, they were taken into what is a segment of DC that you don't see on the 10, 11 o'clock news, because we always tend to focus on the person who is on Alabama Avenue that has like 2 or 3 teeth, and they think that that's what everyone in Anacostia looks like. And I am born and raised in Anacostia.
Well, that's good. You're doing good for yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Okay. So, how long did it take to put the idea into production?
It didn't take long at all. I mean, the longest part of it was actually finding the right people to meet to marry the characters.
Right.
Because Pasha will tell you, I'm very anal retentive when it comes to the right person with the right character, especially since I'm the writer.
Right.
So that was the longest part. But Pasha came in, and there wasn't a role for Pasha. But when Pasha came in and read, she actually read for Mia. She read for Mia, and she was so good. As I said, I don't want to lose her, so I'm going to create a character for her. So I just came up off the fly with the character of Dominique, and she didn't even know what the character was until she actually got the script. And she was like, I'm a madam, okay? So, and she's been playing it ever since. So.
But that role is juicy.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Okay. Dominique Johnson, she's an adult services specialist.
That's cute. That's
cute.
Right?
You can put that on your resume like that.
Right, and she kind of came into the neighborhood. Nobody really knew who she was or what she does. Her business was kind of, a secret, but she is a take no prisoners businesswoman. She has her bodyguard, her heavy duty guy that kind of takes care of all her business for her. And she gets her business done. She doesn't play.
Yeah, until someone else comes marching in on her territory.
That's right. She shuts it down. And I like her character a lot.
So, what have been the challenges that you kind of faced thus far with, it's been 3 seasons and now you're going into your 4th. What are some of the hardest things that you kind of had to deal with?
Well, just like Damon said, the initial challenge was just getting people to watch it, because when they heard the name Anacostia, like, a lot of people thought it was going to be kind of rank and amateurish and just something that they didn't want to get into. So that was hurdle number 1. And then hurdle number 2 was, because it is a predominantly black cast in a space where there aren't that many African American web shows, the next hurdle was getting people to take the show seriously. And I think after the first couple of episodes in the first season, we automatically got picked up by DCTV after the 2nd episode. And I think people started turning a different eye to us, and then the show started catching on gradually, and it's just built a tremendous cult following. Like, it's been downloaded in 96 countries.
Wow.
So it's just been really fast, really a gradual growth with every season. And so that was the ultimate goal. And of course, money. But I always told Pasha that the money was going to come and find the show. That we didn't have to go and look for. We didn't have to go look for money. And I can say that we got some great sponsors coming in for season 4. So thank your sponsors. So we don't have to have the orange bloom juice for lunch anymore. Yeah. So like, that's been but I can't complain about the show at all, because everything that has happened. I mean, we've been put in some great positions just because of the show. I mean, each person. I mean, people see Pasha on books and the cover of books and everything else, and you see the other you see the other ones on commercials and
awards too.
And awards have come our way. So yeah,
the show is really entertaining, but I think also because we deal with real life issues. I think not just with the LGBT community, but there's breast cancer, alcoholism, domestic violence. So I think that there's issues on the show that everybody can relate to, and that makes it more appealing to a wider audience.
Right.
Okay.
So,
have there been any, besides the actors, there been any key people who have played a role in the success for the show and then for you?
I think that I don't know. I think just being on the show, period, it gives you exposure.
Right.
And it allows you to be seen by a wider audience, and that allows you more opportunity to be able to do more things.
Right.
And that's a big deal.
For me, because I live in the show, because I'm the writer and everything else.
Are you so married to it?
So like because I'm married to it, I carry it every day. And so like Pasha and them, that they sort of like do the show and then they go on hiatus, and so I'm still doing it. Yeah. But I think my affirmation that something was right. I was sitting at work, minding my business one day, and my cell phone rang, and I answered it, and there was this woman on the phone, and she's like, "Hey, are you Anthony Anderson?" I was like, "Yeah." And so she's like, "Well, I got your number from a friend of mine. I wanted to tell you that I loved your show, and I've been watching it, and I'm sitting here amazed by it, and and I had this whole 10-minute conversation with this woman, like, oh, all right, well, great. And then she says, "Well, I heard you guys wanted me on the show," and I'm thinking, okay, who is this?
Right.
And so she's like, "Oh, this is Victoria." I was like, "Victoria?" She was like, "Victoria?" I'm like, "Victoria." She's like, "Did Jamie from Daytime Confidential give you a call before I called you?" I was like, "No." She was like, "I'm gonna kill him." I was like, "So you are?" She's like, she's like, "Anthony, this is Victoria Rao."
No.
And Victoria Rao, who plays Drusilla Barber on Young Justice, calls you out the blue and says, "Hey, I tracked your number down from a friend of mine. I wanted to call you and say that I'm watching your show right now and I'm amazed by it and I would love to do something on it.
Right.
It was just great. And then we met Martha Byrne from As the World Turns, two-time Emmy Award-winning actress.
Lily,
and
right?
Lily,
She was Lily.
yeah.
Lily Walsh.
Lily Walsh.
And she said, I want to be a part of the show, and she came on the show.
That's really amazing.
Wow.
And that just goes to show a lot of people, when people tell you, you know, that your gift will make room for you.
Yeah.
You know, you just keep doing what you're doing, and doors will just open, and you just be amazed at the people and the things that come your way.
Yeah.
You know? And like you say, when they leave the set, you're still working.
Exactly.
And I was on the Jasmine brand. We get a lot of our stuff from her, and one of her things was work smart and not hard. And she was like, a lot of times you have to work when people don't even know you're working.
Exactly.
You know, and I thought that was really good when you said that. That reminded me of that. I saw that today.
Right, and I think as the creator of the show, because it is my baby. It's like they're my children. So it's like whenever good things happen to them, I sort of sit back and I'm at home crying, like Pasha just got a nomination for Best Supporting Actress last week, and I called her, and it's hard for me to talk to her about that type of stuff because I know how hard she's worked on the show, and then for her and others to get individually recognized, it just makes me feel like really proud that I've contributed to something that they've done. They've contributed to something that I've done, and now the outside world is now taking notice of it. So that really made me feel really good the other day.
That's good. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So we just talked about you being nominated for an award. So tell us about how you relate to your character, Dominique, and if there have been any inspirations in terms of actresses or characters that you pulled from for your role.
I think as far as actresses or any other character that I've pulled from, as far as inspiration for Dominique, I think being a woman, an African American woman, that is all the inspiration that I need. Because just the drama that I think a woman deals with, relationships, work, your job, your children, that's all I need to pull from.
Right.
To help bring that character to life. All the joys and the frustrations of everyday life, relationship issues, you know, the problems, the ups and downs, just living your life, period. I can take that and put that into Dominique and make it so real and put so much life into that character. So as far as like you know, like having a pull from like another actress or another character to help, you know, bring her to life. No, and I think that's what helps me make her so real. I get all of my inspiration for her from that.
What about you, Anthony?
I don't know. It's hard because I'm the writer. So sometimes I'll look at the stuff on paper after I've written it and I'm on set, and because I'm the director too, and sometimes I'll sit there and be like, why did I write this for myself? And I have to act this out. Then I have to worry about where the camera is and also bring across like emotion and stuff like that. But I think for my character of Sean, I think what I wanted to do was bring across a different portrayal of a gay character, lead character on a show, to where it wasn't one of the characters that was more of a caricature, but more so of a real person. It's like this role. The things that he goes through you can be straight, you can be gay, you can be whatever, and the problems that he has in his relationship are everyday problems. It's just relationship problems, and I wanted to write a character that I identified as gay, but him being gay was not a issue in the neighborhood. It was just like someone being African American, someone being Caucasian. He just happens to be homosexual, right. And his relationship is no different than the heterosexual relationships in the neighborhood as well. And I think that's one of the things that we've gotten a lot of positive comments on, was the portrayal of those two characters of Julian and Sean.
So did you see yourself in the role when you initially wrote it?
No, that was not. I was strictly supposed to have been directing, producing, and we actually had a different guy when we started season 1. We had a different guy in it, and his thing was, okay, well, how far do I have to go with this role? Like, do I have to kiss another guy? It's like, yeah, there's going to be some scenes where you have to kiss another guy. And he was like, I don't think I can do that. And my thing was, if you can't do that, then we can't use you. Right. And so he left, and we had a succession. We had a string of different guys come in, and once it got to that part, and it said, okay, well, you're going to have to kiss this other guy. And they were all like, I can turn my head, kind of. There's a way we can cheat the camera to make it look like, or I can do the actor trick like this, which never works. Pay close attention when you're kissing someone else. That never works. And so we were like, we can't have that. And so we went through 6 different guys before we were 2 weeks from filming, and Cynthia James, who did casting, she was like, we're in trouble right now. Like, someone has to get in that role because we can't shoot without that character. And she was like, you do it. She's like, you do it. She was like, that's it, the end. I'll see you next weekend. You do it. And so we showed up and did the photograph, and I sat in on the photograph and was that person from then on. But
he was very good.
But at the end of season 1, if you watch the show, at the end of season 1, something happens to that character, and I wasn't supposed to come back during season 2. So we brought somebody else in who we were going to do a switch, and we were going to have him do the role. But then some of the actors were like, no. They're like, absolutely no. We're not. No. If it's you, great. If it's him, no. So we had to let him go, and then I stepped back into the role and been doing it ever since.
Wow. So what do you look for in an actor or an actress when you're casting for the show?
First of all, I look for someone who is committed. Someone who can actually be committed. I am the type of producer to where it doesn't matter if you've had experience or if you've not had experience. I'm looking for someone that has the passion. And like a lot of times, there are a lot of first-time actors on the show. I think this is Pasha's first acting role. It was a lot of first acting roles on the show. And I think everyone needs their first start. Mm-hmm. And so I love bringing the fresh faces in and giving them work. And so that's what I look for. And I also look for a person who can look at a script, and it's you either have it or you don't. You can look at a script, and what I love doing is when I'm on set and they show up, you can tell that they went through their script and they marked on the side like, I should do this, or I'm feeling this way, or I should close my eyes this. It's when they have taken an investment of their character and said, this is what I feel, sometimes without talking to me. Right. This is how I feel when this happens, and I love it when they, as actors, can come to me and say, I know it's written this way, but I was reading it and I'm feeling like I should do it this way. And I'm like, okay, let's see if it works, and it's been working.
Wow. So, Pasha, what's been probably your favorite or your most memorable experience since you've been doing this?
I think working with Martha Byrne. Only because when she came on set, she was so personable.
Really?
You would think that with her being on TV since she was, 15? Maybe younger than that, doing the As World Turns, that she would be really, pretentious and snooty. But she came in, she talked to you, she gave you tips, she joked with you and everything. She was really nice. It was amazing. And she was like spot on. She got the script, read what you shoot. She improvise a little bit, laugh, joke, whatever, and she hit it.
Because you have a lot of scenes with her. Did you feel any pressure going into that?
I didn't. I felt like
I would have felt pressure. I would have been like, okay.
No, I didn't. And the thing is, she had came, I think maybe 2 or 3 days before, and they had went out the night before, and I think ate dinner and everything. I didn't get a chance to do that. So when I saw her the day that we shot, that was my first time meeting her. But she introduced herself, introduced myself. Hey, what's going on? Blah blah blah. It wasn't like, oh, you know. Yeah, it was like, okay, let's run our lines and everything.
Okay.
I think I treated her like she was, you know, because we're here to work.
Right.
You know, we're here to
At the
work.
end of the day.
And we went over our lines and everything and shot our lines, and when it was done, it was like, hey, nice working with you and everything. And that was that. I think when it was done, it was like, but that was at the end. But, you know, just going over everything, it was amazing. She's amazing.
Okay. So, I mean, a lot of things happened at the end of season 3. I mean, I don't want to give too much away. Anthony, what can we expect from season 4?
Yeah.
Or when can we expect season 4?
We can
Give us some information.
Oh wow, we can expect a lot from season 4. For those who have not seen the end of season 3, that season 3 cliffhanger was a jaw dropper, and it was shocking and jarring. Everything that I wanted it to be. So season 4, we can't really talk about it. There are some people that some very well known. How can I say this? A very well known African American male actor that a lot of ladies love. You say that? A lot of ladies love is coming on the show. So it's going to be.
He's looking at me like I know something. I need to sit over there with y'all like, what is going on?
Well, let me say this. It's in negotiation for him to come on. He said yes, so it's just trying to work out the schedules. And
let's just give it away. It's me.
No, I don't want.
The ladies love.
I will drop a hint. I'll drop a hint. Chestnuts roasting on the open fire.
Oh shit.
All right. So, quick question for you before we wrap up. What do you see for yourself in the future?
Well, right now we're on hiatus because it's the award season. So we got our fingers crossed for December 17th, the Indie Sub Awards. Right now, what I'm working on is my next project, which is a reality show called City Boys, and it's going to be filmed here in Washington D.C. Starting the Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, and directly after that, we will be in production of season 4 of Anacostia. So those are my back-to-back projects right there, and also being a father of a 7-year-old. So yeah.
Nice. And what about you? Do you plan to continue acting beyond Anacostia, or do you think that you want to branch off into writing or anything like that in the industry as well?
I definitely like being in front of the camera. Working with Anthony was my first on-screen, I guess, film, because I'd done stage and I'd done some commercial. I'd even done, maybe a movie before, because I'd met Anthony during a fashion show. We worked together when he was producing fashion shows and stuff like that. But I definitely like being in front of the camera. So I think it's every actor's dream to progress and do bigger, better things. So I'm hoping that, this just grows and becomes something bigger and better.
Nice. So we're gonna post on our show where all of your information where we can find the show. If you don't already know, can you also tell us?
Yeah, you can go to YouTube, right here, YouTube, and you can type in Anacostia series and to do the vintage episode, which someone called it the other day, a vintage episode.
A
vintage episode, like vintage. It's only been 3 years. The vintage episode of season 1. You can go to Vimeo.com, and start at season 1, and DCTV. Check your local listings in Washington D.C. Going to Philly, Texas, and some more places. All that stuff will be on Facebook. And on Facebook, check us out at Anacostia Series.
Okay. Well, we want to say thank you guys for stopping by, talking with us, and sharing. This is Richie Sky.
I'm Jamal Maurice Bouvier.
The legend.
Mr. Anthony Anderson. Ms. Pasha Diallo. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. We love you.
When I wake up in the morning, I got sunshine on my mind. My body gets to moving, and I've got a little time. 20 extra minutes, but 5 is all I need. We could do the quick and dirty and catch some more Z's. Ooh, I got that fire, got that fever in my bones. Ooh, I got that feeling, my hands just start to roam. Wake up with that woody and I can't control my hands. Think and alt it out and I grab that old kickstand.
I got the